Hello everyone, Michael E. Parker here for another episode here on You Are a CEO. And today we are talking about what it means to be on another level. Now, I know you're probably wondering what I'm talking about and what's going on, but listen, I'm sitting down with someone that I am so happy to have witnessed become a wonderful entrepreneur, and that is Bradford Kelly. Bradford, it's so good to have you here on the show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Very, very excited to see what's going to happen today.
Exactly. Something going to happen here today, too. And listen, I want y'all to know something. Listen, I'm so happy to have Bradford on here because I want y'all to know when y'all see me, on my shows and, hopefully you see some crispy hairlines and stuff. Brad is the one that's been cutting my hair for years upon years upon years. I've been on so many stages speaking before all kind of audiences, sometimes thousands of people. And I'm so grateful that he's been able to make sure. So first of all, Brad, let me just thank you publicly for taking care of my look, with my hair. I appreciate it.
I do what I can do.
Yes. And you do it well.
I got one celebrity client.
No. He's on the move. And I here's the thing. I want to talk about, you all might be wondering, what does it mean to be on another level? And so Bradford's company is actually called Another Level of Barbering. We're going to get into that a little bit later. But I want all of you to really listen closely at a journey. And I want to kind of talk about your journey a little bit, Brad, because, I know you were similar to me, a Bay Area kid growing up in the Bay Area. And I know all of us go through this struggle of figuring out what we want to do. What we want to do in life. We hear all kinds of things. We go through school. When did it hit you that you wanted to be a barber?
Well, before I was a barber, I actually wanted to get into real estate. And so I was going to get into real estate appraisals. One thing that I knew when I graduated high school is that I didn't want to go to college. Not because I didn't like education, but because of the way that the structure was. I knew it didn't benefit me and how my brain worked. So I told my mom multiple times, I can't go to college, I can't go to college. She said, no, you're going to have to go. But I took this, I think it's called a Strong's assessment test or something, where you take the test and it tells you your strengths and weaknesses and what kind of education would benefit you. It told me that I needed to find a trade of some sort. I chose real estate at first because back in 2004 when I graduated high school, money was big. It was. Money was really very big. Yeah. And so I chose to go down that route. But as I was going down that route, some of the things that I knew about myself, it didn't fit what real estate offered. I knew I didn't want to have to write reports. I knew that I didn't want to get stuck inside of an office. I knew that I wanted to be able to be a direct benefit to people that I knew loved and cared about me. And so I didn't find all of those boxes checked when it came to real estate. And it just so happened that a very good friend of mine who I grew up with was in Barber college. And I had a conversation when I was a lot younger, well, not a lot younger, probably about 2 or 3 years before this moment, where we was talking and you had opened one of your businesses, Jovant Salon in Vallejo. And I knew of that, and it was like a nice, wholesome community place, but it was strictly for women. At that time, it was strictly for women. And we were having a conversation, and we were saying, man, it would be really good if we had a good, wholesome environment for men. Because the stereotype around barbershops is just not a pleasant experience. I'm sure you've had to deal with some of it. I know you cut your hair for a long time.
I did.
By yourself.
By yourself. I did. But I went to some barbershops back in the day. I did. And you're so right. And it was unheard of to have a certain environment that maybe women were used to in salons, and maybe that were more upscale, and in barbershops, a full barbershop. It's a total different environment.
Totally different environment. I mean, there's been many a times going to the barbershop where experiences were not as pleasant as I would have wanted to, where you don't get accepted because you may be younger, because of your nationality or different reasons. Your hair texture is a little different than what normal. And so when I thought about that conversation back when I was younger, this opportunity presented itself because my friend was going to barber college, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and try it. So once I got into barber college, I had never cut hair before. Never tried cutting hair. Didn't cut my own hair. Didn't cut no friends' hair.
Right. You weren't that guy in the neighborhood. Everyone went after school and you cut them up and messed up sometimes.
No,
okay.
Nobody. I said witness some friends of mine mess their own hair up, and I was just like, I would never do that.
Right.
So when I got into school, it was literally just me trying to figure out what to do. And when I got into school, I realized that it checked a lot of boxes. It checked a lot of boxes in regards to the fact that I wouldn't be stuck around the exact same people every single day. I was always going to have somebody new come into my chair, always being able to have fresh conversation. It checked the box that I didn't have to write no reports. I didn't have to deal with no computers.
No contracts, yeah.
I didn't have to get back to nobody with emails or different things of that nature. And so it checked a few of these boxes. It checked the box that you can make as much money as you're willing to work for. And so I was about that. I didn't want to have no ceiling on how much money I could make. And so unbeknownst, I was signing up to be an entrepreneur, but didn't know it. I just thought I was going to cut hair.
Yeah, and I don't want to, not to cut you off, but I just want to say, Brad, hats off to you for having the courage. And I hope everyone that will see this, this is You Are a CEO. And in You Are a CEO, we talk about being the CEO of your life, being the CEO of your dream, the CEO of your vision. And what an example of being willing to step away from, the crowd and what everyone feels you should do, right? And I'm gonna be the first one to say that college can be a great thing, but it's also gonna be a bad thing depending on what you allow it to do to you and if you use it for the proper thing. But not everyone is built the same way, and it's not wrong or right. It's just understanding the difference in what's best for you to flourish as an individual. And so you just being willing to have the courage to be so honest and transparent about what was best for you. There are so many people out there and people who will see this, Brad, that'll be inspired by what you just said, because they have those same feelings and they're wondering if something's wrong with them or if they're not good enough. But I'm so grateful that you stuck with it and was willing to say, well, I really I'm self-aware. And we talk about that in You Are a CEO. You've been around the community for years, and you were self-aware.
Yeah, personal awareness is one of the first things I learned back in the day when you had the company Life Skills 411.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that was one of the things that helped me understand what I valued out of education and how I could move forward in life. So when I accepted the challenge of being a barber, I went all in. I was fully committed.
Yeah, and some of you don't know, he just mentioned something, Life Skills 411, and this was actually a nonprofit I started many years ago. Bradford was able to be a part of that, and such a critical thing to get those life skills, because you start thinking about how to apply that, because now here you wake up one day and you're an entrepreneur. And it sounds good to say, I don't want to do this over here and I don't want to do that, I want to do it this way, until you realize one day that you wake up and you are the one responsible for the success of your career. Like, you're not relying on a company or a boss or someone to guide you. It was all on you.
It was all on me. And the first realization that hit me was in life skills. You went over goal setting. And while I was in Barber college, I was studying very, very hard, very, very hard. This happened to be at the exact same time that I was in Barber college, studying very, very hard to become a barber. And I failed my first barber license. Wow. So, and the reason why I bring that up is because what you're saying when it comes to taking on the challenge of being an entrepreneur, once you set a goal, you cannot fail, or you cannot let failure stop you from moving forward.
That's good.
Right? So when I didn't pass my first state board exam, I mean, I was crushed, completely crushed.
Right.
And I had to reorganize my thoughts and realize, like, okay, this is a goal, and you're gonna have some things come up, but you have to press through it. So what I did was I just reapplied, and it took the extra couple months that it took for me to get back, and then I passed my test on the next time. So just owning your own future has a lot to do with perseverance. It has a lot to do with you not quitting, and it has a lot to do with knowing that you are a CEO of your own destiny.
Absolutely. Well said, Brad. And I think too, there's so many people, Brad, that really literally think that they failed and they just quit.
Yeah.
They didn't fail, they quit. Because if they would have kept going, if they would have tried again, if they would have realized that everything that didn't go right was actually a learning experience, right? They learned what not to do. And so you had that. And I want to, fast forward a little bit to when you think about yourself finally getting that license. And tell me about, starting off as a barber, maybe not having some of the best examples at times when you were in the barber industry, and then maybe you not being who you needed to be as successful as you could be. What was it like early in your career when maybe you just feel like you didn't fully get it? You were doing barbering, but you didn't get it.
Yeah, it's tough. When you get first in this industry, you only are focused on the labor. You only focus on how to fade, how to line, how to do the best blends. And I mean, you do have to get skilled at your craft, don't get me wrong, but there's so much more to running a business and even being a barber, a true barber,
right,
than it is just to blend. And so my mindset at the beginning was, I didn't even really want to do a lot of work. Like, I didn't want to do too much extra. It was just give me what I had and that's it.
Right.
But as I grew in the industry and being around positive people, having the right influences around me, it let me know that I needed to expand my mind so that I could expand my pockets.
Oh, that's well said.
Yeah, because
well said.
When you're a barber and you don't understand how to be a business, then you will be broke and you will not be able to live a life that is something that you probably grew up dreaming about. You won't live a life that you find fulfilling.
Right.
So I'm glad that I got around, or people were around me that were positive influences, because it helped to shape the way that I thought. When I first got started, it was a very limited approach that I looked at my life in.
Right.
I could only do this, I could only do that, didn't really have growth on my mind.
Right.
But as time went on, being around different examples like yourself, being a part of communities such as you are a CEO, it's pushed my mind to think higher and get to another level so that I could get to another level myself.
Yeah, very, very well said. And Brad, I mean, I'm so happy when I see just the man you've become, the entrepreneur you've become, because I witness your growth. And you worked in some of my companies as a barber in an environment that was very unique. Like, you were the only barber, and I know that was tough.
Very.
And all the men would come in there looking for you, and trying to stay away from all the other stuff that was going on, and you gave them that oasis. And then as our businesses began to grow, we started to get better areas where you could kind of have your own little area and stuff like that. And one thing that I noticed, to me, I saw a Bradford that was cutting hair and doing barbering, and there was a point where I saw the shift in you, where it's like you started to realize that you had to stop limiting yourself. You started to realize that there was a business of barbering. It was more than just being a barber. Tell me a little bit about that transition, and what were some of the epiphanies you got when you realized that this was a business?
I think the biggest epiphany, or the cause for the epiphany, was a change in my life when I got married. When I got married, I didn't.
That'll change you.
That'll
change.
It'll change you. When I got married, I did not actually understand how massive your finances would change.
Right.
Based on the relationship that you have. I was used to having my bills, and I made enough money to supersede my bills and some.
Right.
When we came together, bills doubled.
Yeah,
and so
that's right.
I had to understand that what I was doing could not continue if I wanted my life to get better. So the shift happened once I started to hit the ceiling of what I could do just with cutting hair.
Right.
And only thinking about the fades that were coming in, and not realizing, well, how do I attract more people? How do I make sure that I keep people that are coming?
That's good.
How do I add value to people that are coming so that I can make more money off this same person? When I started to understand that I had to think higher like that,
right,
it made me actually go to Atlanta, learn some other services so that I could actually be more of a benefit to my clients.
Right, right.
So therefore I could add extra services, and then I could add more value to their experience.
Right.
So that way when they came to me, they realized that I was on another level, and therefore they would their experience would be on another level too.
Yeah, and what I love about what you're saying is that, and here's where a lot of entrepreneurs miss it, is that they want people to invest in them, and they want to invest in themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so the fact that you went and you put real money into yourself. Like,
yeah, that was a lot of money.
I know, I bet it was.
That was a lot of money, especially for my mindset.
Yeah.
You know how I used to think
Yes,
about money.
I do.
I'm very, very frugal.
Yeah.
I'm very frugal.
To say the least. Yes.
But I realized that investing in myself really was the best way to make my money make money.
Yes.
So
right.
I had to do it.
Absolutely. And I think there's so many people that they get stuck in entrepreneurship because when they mistake the price of something and not understanding the investment of something because they don't see the return, they only see the price. And I'm really grateful that you saw that, because I think not just what you got from that particular training or that particular experience, but what happened to you to realize that good things came from you making an investment in yourself.
Yeah.
So you start to grow, you start to expand. So now you're starting to grow. Tell me how this all kind of grew into what we know today as another level of barbering.
Well, it grew into another level of barbering just simply on the fact that I wanted to continuously grow. So another level of barbering to me has to do with always finding another level to get to. Once you get to one thing, there's always going to be something else. I think we know that success is a journey, it's not the destination.
Right.
And that's a hard realization to come to when you think that success is something that's a final thing. It's just like, okay, I'm going to get here and then boom.
Right.
Well, that's what happened to me, and I realized that I had to keep growing. I got my license, and then what?
Right.
I became booked as a barber, and then what?
Right.
And so as I continued to grow, I realized, like, man, you got to keep going. You
Right.
got to keep getting to another level. And so that's what another level of barbering is about, is the mindset of always continuing to grow, always continuing to achieve more than what you already have.
Right. So are you saying that both there's a dual meaning there, that we always have to be striving to get on another level, but then also are you trying to give another level of experience to the people who come to you that is different than everyone else?
Yeah, because the fact that I'm always growing is always going to supersede something that you've already experienced.
Right.
So if you go to a typical barber, you're going to realize when you come to me that I'm on another level.
Right.
You're going to say, oh man, the way that your customer service is on another level.
Yeah.
The way that your communication is on another level. The environment that you have is on another level. The quality of your haircuts, the quality of your services, all on another level.
Right.
But I'm always trying to grow. So anytime that you visit somebody else, you're going to feel underappreciated. You're going to feel like they don't appreciate you.
It's not the same level.
Yeah, it's not the same
exactly.
level. It's going to be on a different level.
But see, that's why I always tell entrepreneurs, Brad, that entrepreneurs want people to come and to do things, and they want to be a boss, and they don't necessarily want to be a leader. And a leader is different. And you have to become the seed that is planted in that business that can grow. And if you have that spirit of another level and of growing and of investing in yourself, the people that you'll attract are people who also want to grow, and they want a better experience. They want something more. They don't want to just be in a typical barbershop. They don't want the typical environment. They don't want to hear the typical words and things that you would hear. And, so tell me, with this whole principle that you've come up with another level of barbering, what are you trying to do? Because I think a lot of barbers, no doubt, that are hearing this, they may be interested in how to get to another level. Are you working on anything to maybe help other barbers in the struggle who want to grow as well?
Absolutely. One thing that I wish I would have had is had good mentors in this industry. Somebody that would take me under their wing and kind of guide me on the business side.
Right.
It's one thing to cut hair, but it's another thing to really understand how to make somebody feel comfortable when they come in.
Right.
It's another thing to understand what you're supposed to do to make sure that you can retain clients as well as attract better ones. So I am working on something. I do have a program that I'm working on, I'm developing currently to make sure that I can give it to the barbers that want to grow and want to get to another level for themselves. And so I'm excited when I get a chance to launch it.
Yeah, well, that is awesome. Listen, well, you have my full support, and as you get that program ready, make sure and come back and let us know about it, because I'd like to get the word out. I'm always wanting to see, people that I know are part of this URCL community that is really out here in the street, so to speak, getting it done, getting the work done, putting the real work in, dealing with real customers. It's not just internet stuff. Like, you touch real people, and you change lives when they come and sit in your chair and you give them an experience. And so you have my full support, and that I want to see the program you're developing to grow. And if there's any barbers out there, I'm gonna tell you, this is an individual that's not just talking. I've watched this person be transformed. I've watched who he's become. And, when you see someone who's really walked the walk, they felt the pain, and they've also been able to find the medicine, it's going to save you time to learn from someone that's actually been on that journey and can give you the shortcuts and the ways that you can walk to stop you from going into things that can hurt you as a barber, as an entrepreneur. And so I am so grateful that you're putting something together. I mean, it's not something you should keep to yourself. And
it's not.
I just want to say then, any final thoughts you want to say to barbers out there that are listening to this, as well as just entrepreneurs out there that just need that little courage that things can be better than they are now for them. Anything you want to say to them?
Yeah, I would like to encourage you not to limit yourself in your mind. Don't get stuck by your own experiences, but allow yourself to get around others that have experienced more than you, and then try and glean from them. Because if you glean from them, then you can also grow.
Oh, well said, well said. Well, we're going to leave it right there. There you have it. I told you we was going to go on another level on this episode, and I want to thank Bradford Kelly and shout out to Another Level of Barbering for the wonderful work that they are doing. And I wish great success to Another Level of Barbering, and to all the barbers out there that are in the struggle of changing lives and helping people feel better about themselves every single day. We need you. Don't give up the profession. Build real businesses. Don't just be cutting hair and just getting it done, operating out of your shirt pocket. We need you to build real businesses so you can be there for us. We need you. You're irreplaceable. So make sure you have the mindset that's willing to grow. And all of you out there, remember, this is You Are a CEO, and we are focusing on making sure that you grow. Now, if you just seeing this, make sure you like and you subscribe and you share and you comment and get the word out to everyone out there that want to grow, to hear this inspiring story, because all of us need to continue pressing forward. And we all want to remember, we make a decision every single day to be the CEO of our life. So no matter what trade you're in, no matter what profession you're in, push yourself to be on another level, because you can't afford to stay the same. I'm Michael E. Parker. We'll see you next time here at You Are CEO. Stay strong.